Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Real Black Podcast. We're starting a little late. It's 11:06. We're supposed to start, as I said, we're on CP time all the time it seems, but hopefully everybody can see me. Got no one's joining in yet. So I will talk for a second uh and see who we get on first. We got one new viewer. Is that Charles viewing in or is that me? Charles is on. Okay, so Charles, I'm going to crank you up. So if nobody else joins in, say hello to everybody. We got four folks watching now.
Oh, peace and blessings to the real black family.
Okay,
I'm feeling much better.
excellent. And can everybody hear okay? Can just give we have a few folks on. Someone, can you hear us okay? This is a new setup. So uh can you hear us? Yes, okay. All right, excellent. And I got to get used to looking at this chumpy. So I'm looking handsome. Charles is on the phone with us, Charles Woods. I just dropped the phone. I'm gonna bring this a little closer. Whoops, things are falling everywhere. Charles, you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, the box fell. This is professional television. This is almost as good as the Megyn Kelly today. They had a camera guy step in front of the camera at one point as on that fiasco. I don't know if you remember that, Charles, or whatever. So, um, yeah, I got the sexy voice, guys. Now it's too much. I got anyway. This big tax write off when you show on camera. So anyway, welcome to the Real Black Talking Black podcast. I'm Mike, and with us on the line is our perennial co-host. Say your name, sir. Did we lose?
Hello, everyone. Peace and blessings.
Peace, Charles Woods, and we have three topics to cover, and then some new releases. Um, so the Megyn Kelly we're going to talk about today with the blackface comments and the fact that she may have lost her job as a result. And then also we have Hate You Give, Charles saw today, and then also Sorry to Bother You is out on video, and I think it raises a question about the illusion of inclusion. So we want to talk on that topic once again. So I posted a video yesterday of Megyn Kelly's comments, Charles. I don't know if you saw her thing, about the Halloween blackface. I called it Blackface Santa because it alludes to another situation that she was involved in. But basically, on live TV, they're discussing the politically correctness of Halloween costumes. And out of her mouth, with no prompting, it seems as though she was prepared to say it. She started saying, and back in her day, it was perfectly appropriate for people to wear blackface, be pretend to be white if they were black, or wear blackface if they were white people who wanted to darken their skin for Halloween. It's just one day after all. And that in this Twitterverse created a whole controversy and, much necessary uproar. And now it looks like it's enough to get her to exit her contract. So I don't know if you had any feelings about that, Charles, but please.
Well, I mean, Megyn Kelly is someone, um, she's, for me, she's just another uh, white person, and particularly a nice looking white girl by European standards, who's enjoying the good life because of white privilege. One of the people who come to my mind is Vanna White, and how much money this lady's made, and what she does, a monkey can do. I mean, just uncover letters on a board, and so they don't know just how good they have it. But I think what's gotten Megyn Kelly in trouble is the fact that um, the only person who can get away with saying stupid shit is the man in the White House, and what the conservatives are trying to say is that you can't say anything anymore because this is a climate where everything's politically correct. And if you listen to Megyn Kelly very carefully, that's where she was going with this whole thing. It's um, oh, you can do it so long as it's respectful. What's wrong with that? Someone wanting to be Diana Ross. What's wrong with that? As long as it's respectful. But the whole thing is, you see, when you appropriate blackness in this society, white folks do it to demean us, to denigrate us, to mock the color blackness. And when black folk appropriate whiteness, it's for survival, it's for success, because this society is about whiteness. And, so where a lot of people are talking about this blackface, a lot of people don't even realize that black folk engage in whiteface.
Right, which alludes to our next topic, but I want to, which is sorry to bother you and the whole, uh, complexion for the protection, the illusion of conclusion, to quote Paul Mooney. But just to stay on Megyn Kelly for a minute, I think a lot of people also, again, Twitter's getting these people in trouble. I think NBC, just like ABC, knew what they were getting into when they hired Roseanne. Megan, they had to understand what they were getting into when they made a $20 million contract to take Megyn Kelly, who was one of
They made
Fox
50
News's
million. There's 50 million.
$50 million to bring her over from Fox News in the whole hailstorm of the Roger Ailes scandal. She was one of the people I believe that said that she was harassed by Ailes. Ailes was fired, let go of Fox, and a lot of people left Fox either of their own volition or were fired, like a Bill O'Reilly. Megyn Kelly ends up at NBC, basically replacing Tamron Hall, who was a very successful black anchor there, and Al Roker. So when she got into this whole, latest rigmarole about the blackface, Al Roker was one of the first people to sort of. I mean, it was sort of like a weird, almost like not a mutiny, but they the next day they rallied all the black correspondents at NBC to speak about race, and even they brought Roland Martin over to have a dialogue and discussion with Megyn Kelly about her insensitive comments. But again, the is there a double standard?
Well, when I saw a Roland Martin schooler on this whole thing about blackface and the pejorative history with blackface, uh, Megyn Kelly's reaction, she was practically about to break down in tears. And the first thought that came to my mind, seeing her reaction and how this thing has shaken her up, I said, "This lady, something's up. She's not long for for the position she's got. I
Those
know she's challenging it, but I knew something was up. And then when you called me earlier and told me that uh, they're dropping her, I think they just showed repeats. They didn't show a live show; they showed repeats.
Yeah, basically, I think Wednesday was her last show, and then the reports were that the show is over. They already had a lot of problems with ratings, and they replaced producers 2 or 3 times. That was the
Hmm.
last straw for the show. Now, the what I'm reading as of like 8 o'clock tonight, her lawyer is supposed to be coming to, I guess, negotiate her out of this contract. But you know, it just seems like an odd
Well, that
situation.
confirmed my suspicions. The whole thing is, MSNBC. I watched it, and I've grown weary of it. I don't watch it now, and I catch a lot of it in clips on YouTube. one person who's gotten on my nerves. I used to like her, but um, uh,
Rachel,
Rachel. Oh, I mean, they're just
Rachel
they beat
Maddow.
the same horse over and over and over again. And so what's happening is Trump is able to get away with a lot of stuff because the people who support Trump, clearly these people must be brain dead. And I know a lot of people are going to get upset with me for saying that, but I mean, listen, if you can lie the way he lies, and you fall for this bull crap, something's up. Okay, something you can't say your brain is working. I don't need to hear about how much better he is than the person he replaced in the White House. Because I don't care who you put in the White House, everybody's going to have their likes and dislikes. You can with Obama, he didn't do enough for black folk. He did all this droning and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, history, if it's objective, history will settle the accounts that you can't get the right information because when people look at things emotionally, there's no real objectivity to it. But the thing is, if you can't see that this man is destroying the fabric of what this country is supposed to be about, then something's wrong with you. I mean, just look at all the bombs that have gone to people that this man has suggested need to be things need to be done to them. CNN,
Yeah,
they
and well,
receive bombs.
pipe bombs being sent, and then folks being told, well, because they're not real bombs, it's fake news. It's still a threat. It's a terroristic
Oh,
threat being put upon people that he's singled out over
he's
time.
singled out. And I listened to one Republican today, and the whole thing is this: these guys are not saying anything. If the shoe was on the other foot, these bums would be up in arms. The only reason why they went after the Saudis for this killing of the journalists, and they got away with challenging what was coming back as what possibly could have happened to Khashoggi, was that it was Republican uh, Congress people who demanded answers. As one guy, Kennedy, he said, "I don't trust anything outside of Israel. I don't trust anything coming out of the Middle East the way I don't trust soup from a gas station."
Hmm.
Okay, so I mean, the thing is, a lot of people forget that in America we had a war where more people died than in World War I and World War II, and that's a civil war, and that's where people went to war against each other. There was nothing really civil about it. And the thing is, with Trump in office, the division, the racial division is growing to a point where he's going to cause um, a lot of friction, and people are going to be ready to kill each other.
Yeah. Well,
Something needs to happen.
there is a theory I've heard of a lot of places. Trump tied by his with his ties to the white supremacist groups. And we dug out a clip from a movie called Blood in the Face, where Michael Moore is interviewing white supremacist neo Nazis in Illinois, I think 30 years ago. And they said eventually this country is going to come to a point of economic turmoil, which will allow them to incite race riots. So, this, a lot of people may feel that that's when you see the Dow Jones this week, we're certainly not getting healthier as an economy, despite all the things that people are saying.
But
It's a House of Cards.
can when you can come out and call yourself a nationalist
Mhm.
and say you're not aware of that term having any other context than a nationalist, meaning what he wants to claim it means, that it's about America first and there's nothing racial to it or nothing. He needs to go and read what George Orwell had to say about it. George Orwell, the
Right.
author of 1984. Nationalism is from the perspective of